Yeah, we can't hear you. Now you're muted.
I love glasses.
Mr. Magoo.
I think he was drinking some Four Locos
before he jumped on.
He's doing this on purpose. He doesn't want to do it, so he's acting like it's
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
We should have been recording.
Hey, this is recording. What are you talking about?
You do have a mute button. If you take your mouse and scroll to the bottom, a toolbar will come up and you'll see a microphone in the video, and that microphone's turned off on you, Darin.
All right, so we want to welcome Darin and Matt Beach to this lovely episode of Just Truck It. So lead us off, Darin Williams. Tell us about yourself. What do you do?
I am the president of CDLjobs.com. It's a role that I have held for 23 years. Yeah, I'm only 35. I was a very young learner. Trucking's hard on you, man. I worked at a large Midwest carrier for about 9 years and left to kind of got in a fight with my boss more than anything and left. I didn't think he'd let me quit, and he didn't think I would quit, and I quit and they let me. So I had to think of something fast. So I started an advertising agency at the request of another trucking company who wanted to hire me to come do their advertising and their recruiting. But I did not want to move to Dallas, Texas. So they said, if you start your own agency, we will hire you. So I literally bought a book called Advertising Agencies for Dummies and started with a fax machine and a desk in my basement.
A fax machine? What's that?
Yeah, exactly. They used to be a very valuable tool in what we do. The thing has grown from there.
Advertising.
What's that?
So like the Steve Jobs of trucking advertising.
The crazy part of him, I suppose. I've been around a long time.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming and blessing us with your presence today. And then
you shouldn't make that judgment before we go too far.
Oh, right. Especially with the great podcast we did earlier. What's the podcast name?
The Recruit and Retain Happy Hour Edition.
Oh, it was a happy hour for sure.
We should have had White Claws in this. After that.
I think Beach does have them.
It's right next to him.
Oh,
we just know it.
Speaking of Beach, who's Beach? Oh, wait, he's been on one episode already.
I have the most viewed. I think it was your most viewed episode. I think it was.
I mean, of course. And everyone after that was like, I just want to get the numbers that Matt Beach had.
Exactly. I don't know that point.
Maryland. Oh.
Yeah, so if these numbers are lower, we know what the denominator is there. I get it.
Well, I'm gonna piss her off now. She's gonna be like, next time I gotta be one as well. Like, I gotta be on it too.
Yeah.
She should have invited us to.
Yeah, she should invite us to Vegas.
Yeah. Well, in my defense, I was unaware that there was a Priscilla at the time, so this one lies solely on Beach.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my bad.
So tell us about what yourself there, Beach, and what you're doing nowadays. I know that you've had a bunch of crazy uphill swings that you've hit home runs on.
I've tried to swing for the fence. I was with Seat My Trucks there for almost a year, and then turned around and started 10-4 recruiting. It's a third-party recruiting group. Started that in November 2020, and then turned around and was acquired by a large, one of the largest marketing carriers out of Nashville, Tennessee, Conversion. And they've said, hey, you just keep doing your thing. We're just a big part of that family, and I've been blessed to be part of that group. And it's been great. I mean, I'm up to, I think, 34 recruiters right now. Got some amazing carriers that we work with, and it's been busy. It's it's been very good, but yes, very busy.
Well, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
You look excited.
No, well, it's not. No, I mean, yeah, the whole, you know, the selling of the business, that was great. But it's just it's the industry.
Yeah.
It'll wear you out. And, you know, even like right now, you can't sit there and do the same thing that you did 2 years ago. You right now cannot do the same thing you did 2 months ago, almost. I mean, it's like you have to look under a rock and go, what's the next thing I can come up with? What's another thing that we need to do? What else can we do slightly different here? You know, whether that's the way you market for a driver, the way you recruit for a driver, the way you, you know, I mean, it's just the pay right now for drivers. I mean, it's just unreal how quickly it changes. And it's just that, what's the next thing? What's the next bait that I need to use to be able to help and make whatever, you know, product I have right now more appeasing to the masses.
Yeah. I mean, let's just talk about that. Well, you know, since we got all you guys here, explain to ones what goes on behind the scenes of, you know, the trying to get a driver. And why is it always changing? What's going on with the industry right now? I mean, let's just dive into this.
Well, trucking is the only job, and it doesn't matter what job you have in trucking, from the president of the company to the driver to the guy loading the trucks. Anything we do has a very short-term goal, whether it's weekly, monthly, daily, by the trip, whatever. You do a great job, that project's over, and you start over again immediately, and you have a brand new goal. The end zone keeps moving, so to speak, and right now, with what we deal with a lot is making changes, and there are pay changes that happen weekly. Now, companies are changing their pay weekly to be competitive. Markets change. The rising price of fuel has caused a lot of people to make some changes. Lanes change, lanes drop, lanes add, and we need more dedicated guys in certain areas. We need more local guys in certain areas. So our focus, just from the website advertising part of it, we've always got to be changing. We are in constant contact with our client base to make sure that we've got the most up-to-date information out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like this is going to sound so bad, but I really mean it because it's of what you see and how the market is. But it's like, think of a cattle auction. Oh, no, what are you going to give me for it? Open the gates, let them walk, I'm going through, who's got 25, you know, and it's, you know, and you're trying.
You just didn't sell toilet paper once.
I'm from Iowa. I'm very familiar.
But I'm just with toilet paper auctioneering.
The cattle auction.
Oh. Did you ever
bad timing?
No, but no, John goes, he also auctioned off toilet paper. You're like, I'm from Iowa. We eat a lot of corn. Trust us. I'm
on a delay here, I think.
Are you sure? I didn't eat no corn.
Please carry on.
But no, it's just the process. It's like the pay, and even from pay, home time. I got 5, one home down here, one, and everyone, and the driver. It's like, well, which one do you want? Which one's the best one for me? Sold right here. That's what you get. And then it's just the next one, and it's just going crazy. Another round of just different stuff for driver, which is a good thing for the driver, right? I mean, I've always said a Class A, I've probably said this the last time I was on your podcast. A Class A license for a driver is like Charlie Bucket from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with a Class A, with the golden ticket, holding it up, going, "Who wants me? Who wants this?" And it's like, I'll give you a bike. I'll give you a $100 bill, kid. What does that sound like? But still, it is crazy right now. And to have a Class A license is great. I mean, it's awesome. Trying to recruit a Class A driver is tough. It's a challenge. It's a grind.
Do you think it's hard on the recruiters too? Because I know right here lately, our recruiters that we have for our school, and no offense to everybody who works with us, but they're slacking. I don't know.
You almost said slackalicious, didn't you?
I said slack-a-lacking for some reason.
you were going to put some emphasis on slacking.
What is it? But because it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating for the student who wants to become a driver, and it's frustrating when they leave us and they're expecting something, and because of, like you said, it's changing so constant that now it's completely changed.
Yeah, I love
it's not only changed, the competition has gotten so much more stiff.
Oh, yeah.
When I started as a driver recruiter at Heartland Express in 1992, I think, I was given a steno pad and a pencil and a telephone. That was it. We would place an ad in the paper and you'd get 100 phone calls on Monday. I was an order taker. We wrote down names, and when we needed somebody, we would call them and they would be ready and they would come to work for us. So I could not do what recruiters do today. It's a tough job, a really tough job. And you've got to be not only very good at what you do, but you've got to be very quick at what you do. Because if a good driver applies to me and you, man, he's getting phone calls from everybody.
And that's the thing is, we get ones come in and, we like to do, a lot of help for our students in the sense of with it always changing and the hiring requirements being different in every company. Mm-hmm. We kind of get to know the person, what they're looking for and what they have going on to help them kind of navigate through this, because otherwise it can get overwhelming. Okay. So, okay. Well, and what this company would suit you best, or these two right here. Then once we've done that work, we've gone out on a limb and we've helped them.
And we talk so highly of these companies.
And then we submit that application. Then it's like, that recruiter is like, well, I'll get to what I can.
Well, that's how it feels, right? I'm sure they're busy. We're not saying they're not. It's just that's how it feels, or that's how it feels also to the student. It's like, okay, wow. I haven't gotten a call. I thought you said they were great. Now I'm starting to second guess. And then they start looking further, and then they get even more overwhelmed. Now the competition has become stiff because now you got 10 other companies fighting for that student now.
Well, and there are companies out there who specialize in this. And I think we talked about, Beach talks a lot about a domino principle, where if one thing happens, you get a lot of things down the line that go wrong. And in addition to COVID slowing down trucking schools and everything else, we stopped training recruiters.
Ooh.
This is a sales position, and you've got to be up to speed on a lot of different techniques. We see it a lot as well when we send X amount of qualified leads to a trucking company and they don't hire anybody. In my day, we didn't brag about that. I would have lied and said we hired somebody. But there needs to be some training done for sure. And there are good companies out there that do it, that offer it, that will do it for free.
That's why I was excited about that Activators program.
It's get ready.
What's the Activators?
It's still there.
No, I'm not familiar. So what is the Activators program?
It's a program for, we use that terminology of, are they activated? Right? Are the drivers activated? Hired? Are they ready to drive? Whatever. But I've always used the phrase, are they activated? And so that's what we created, a program called Activators. So Activators is a recruiting training program for recruiters. It's specifically geared around the 10th Street application.
We didn't even plan that, Beach. We kind of led into each other perfect there.
Yeah. It was great. I love the flow of that. And you just messed it up. That's okay. We'll come right back. We're coming right back.
They can edit this stuff out.
I know, but why would they? And it's a program, 1 or 2 days, to where the carriers can have new recruiters or existing recruiters go through the Activators training program for them to recruit.
That's fantastic, and I think everybody ought to take it. And I think the next thing that happens, seriously, is exhaustion. Honestly, can you imagine? I mean, your job every week is to get, let's say, I don't know what the number is anymore these days, 6 guys hired. And you gotta bust your tail, man. You gotta be hustling all week long, 6 days. whether you do it or not, you got to start over again Monday.
Exactly.
Again and again and again and again. It's tough work.
Calls a day, Matt Beach, you say?
If I had to do like 30,000 foot overview of what it is for a recruiter to get a hire, you'd have to do 80 to 100 plus phone calls a day to maybe send out your link to 15 to 20 people. Again, depending on the carrier and what they have to offer. To have maybe 10 of those fill your full electronic app out, to have 5 get approved and hopefully get 3 set for orientation, hope 2 show up.
Yeah.
I mean, that depends on the carrier again, but I'm just saying for your long haul, maybe, I mean, depending on what they're offering. I mean, all it is it's tough. And that's not true data, but that's just painting a 30,000 foot of how tough it is to be a recruiter right now. And you got to love on them. And one way of loving on them is, number one, thanking them for their hard work. But kind of what Darin, exhaustion, you've got to give them some break. You've got to, training is huge right now. But they're working hard. They're the front. They are really your ambassador to the carrier. If you think about it, they're the front lines. You got to, if you're a recruiting manager, I've always said recruiting managers have to get in the trenches. You got to stop putting them in meetings, get them out, put them in your field, get them with your people. But you've got to, they are the ambassadors for the carrier. They're the first contact of, hey, this for the driver to, kind of get an example of what this carrier is like.
At that point in time, they're the only representation for the carrier. They don't know anything about that carrier except for that recruiter on the phone.
And they are, someone used it the other, they're a, what do you call someone that helps you out with your vacation planning? They're a
wife.
Travel agent? Is that?
Yes, wife. Yeah, they are. They're a travel agency for a carrier. They call, they sell it. They have to book your orientation. They help you book your travel. And then when your flight doesn't go the way it does, well, then let's adjust your flight. Let's try to find you another car. Let's try to find a different way to get you there. I mean, it's nuts. Everything,
like I said, man, I could not do it today.
It's a challenge.
I mean, and it's sales 101 is there's a time for everything in the sense of how to sell. And in the beginning, don't you feel that it's a pull in, and then as we get through the different scenarios of what you got going on, what you're looking for, and I start and I need certain things done, then it can be a little still pull in, but a little bit now push back. But I feel like so many recruiters that could benefit from hearing this try doing that pushback first and end up turning that person away because, in sales, you want to pull them in and give them a little light at the end of the tunnel or sell them on something for them to actually want to do that and give you what you're looking for.
Absolutely. The way these websites are set up now, you're only seeing leads from people who meet your criteria and who have applied to you. So if you get a notification from somebody that says they've sent you their information, there's no reason you can't hire them. Now, you may find some stuff out on the other end, right? But I mean, I can make a commitment to you that as long as you're telling me the truth right now up front, I can have you scheduled for class on Monday. We'll put you to work.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to give me 3 days, whatever, say, now if you're being truthful with me, because we're going to do a little bit deeper dive here. And once you do that deeper dive, if everything checks out, you should have had that driver committed for 3-4 days already.
Yeah. So where do you get your leads at, Beach?
Hold on, something smells like this. God.
It's probably that stuffed goat or whatever you had on your lap earlier.
It's not me. It ain't me.
It's the machine. It's that fart machine.
What was the question? It's fine. Please edit that out, please. But
I'm definitely not. So where do you usually get your leads from?
I'll run my own ads for the most part.
From where? 10th
Street's got a job store they'll do, and then I've got some other areas that I'll place ads for.
It's like the Pulse app for drivers.
Yeah, that's another good source. But there's several. Their job store, they've got several several different vendors within that platform that you can place ads through.
Okay. And what about you, Darin? What is where do you usually get your leads? What do you do to get your driver calls?
Most of it's done just because we've had 23 years of organic search on the search engines. We've been around for 23 years.
Okay.
CDLjobs.com started in 1999.
Okay.
So when you look up trucking jobs and truck driving jobs and that sort of thing, we come up first in a lot of stuff. So most of it is done through that. It's organic search stuff. We do our own SEM, SEO, social media advertising. And it's just, most of it's organic.
So they come on, they have found an ad that you placed out looking for drivers, probably for different, carriers that work with you. How do you get that driver to a carrier? Like, how does that work?
We build landing pages for each of our clients. Okay. So they go in and they're able to, so a driver comes into our website, they're able to research as many companies as they want. They can, check out, I don't know, there's maybe 130 of them online right now. They can go in and check them all out. And they can also go down and narrow things by a search. So they say, I wanted to do something in this zip code. Somebody hiring 50 miles from my zip code. They can do it that way. They can do it from my state. I only want flatbed jobs. So they can sort out a lot of things on their own. And then once they do that research and they make the decision, they hit an apply now button at the end of that application form, which is just it's a lead form that's just asking them some very basic questions. You then select who you want to send that information to. So you can send it to everybody. You can send it to one. You can send it to 5. The average number that people are still doing is about 9. Because you have people that go on there and apply to everybody. And then you've got some people who are doing their research and they say, I'm really looking for a regional job that gets me home on weekends. These 10 carriers have it. I'm going to apply to those 10 carriers. From that point, it's all automated. We don't have anything to do with it once it's to that point. But when they click that submit button, that application is going to go to those 10 carriers if they meet the criteria, right? So they've also got to meet the hiring criteria in order for the lead to get sent.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And so now you've got those leads, you get them to
So like Matt Beach people.
And and Beach and his team are making 100 phone calls a day off those. So I mean that's the competition you're talking about. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's truly crazy. And then absolutely, I mean, again, I can't have enough respect for the recruiters out there that are working these things, man. It's tiring. It's tough.
Since you guys are in the trenches with recruiting drivers and seeing trends and seeing, what's going on, let's talk about the trucking industry. What are each of y'all's thoughts about the current state? Where do you see things going? Let's talk about that kind of stuff.
I don't see much of a change until probably January. We're going to see a lot of the same status quo, maybe to the end. Backlog problems, supply chain problems aren't only caused for jobs, they're caused because there aren't trucks to be built.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to put people in trucks that aren't there. I think that there's a lot of hullabaloo about automated trucks and a lot of misinformation out there that people think that we're going to have 80,000-pound trucks ramming up and down the highway with nobody in them.
It can't happen.
You know what? It actually may create more jobs as a result. It just, and there's going to be jobs for a driver. We're still going to need professional Class A commercial drivers. I mean, that's not going anywhere ever.
Yeah. I talk about it all the time. Like an airplane still has pilots, even though it's got a pilot.
That's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we talked about insurance companies and that other podcasts. That's you got to deal with that situation. So it's not going anywhere. But
why January? I was kind of confused.
Man, I mean, you know what? If I'm pressed with the gun up against my head, I just think that you're going to see a turn when maybe the COVID scare is completely vanished. Hopefully, we've got some legislation in place that might open up some things with regard to 18 to 21-year-olds. We had talked earlier a little bit about third-party testing. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen, and I think that they maybe have more push behind them now than they did before, just simply because it's necessitated. We're living it now. It always used to be theory that, boy, if we don't change this, we're going to have problems. Well, guess what, man, we're having problems and we need to change it. Maybe that's me putting way too much faith in our federal government, but I guess, I don't know.
We are a reactive society.
But yeah, something's got to change. And here's hoping, huh?
What about you, Beach? What do you see is going on right now? What about the companies? Let's say a trucking company is watching right now. What advice would you give them in the upcoming, months to year?
Number one, take care of your recruiters, because if not, I will hire them in a heartbeat, and I'll train them, and I'll love all of them, make them third-party recruiters. I mean that if that's going directly to the carriers. The other, but again, what we've been saying, especially take care of your people. If there's training involved, if there's any time, this is for the recruiting managers, and I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times, get in the trenches with your people, listen to what they're saying, sit on the phone calls with them, try to be a coach, try to be a leader, get out there and make phone calls yourself. It's amazing how many people are in this that never actually picked up a phone and made a phone call to a driver to understand really what's going on, versus you're not doing this is not happening, this is up. Well, get on the phone, try it, just try it with me. And I highly recommend anybody. No one in the industry is good enough to say, I don't need to talk to a driver. That's bullcrap. I recommend anybody pick up a phone and try to recruit a driver right now. The other thing is spring cleaning. Take some time, and I'm sure Darin would agree with this as well. Carriers need to stop, open up their website, and see what it's like for a driver to go through their process. Is it easy? How do they find the link for the site? What is it like to each of the recruiting department?
That is so huge. Oh my God.
To speak to HR or speak to this, but for mechanic, speak to one. And then by the time you get to option 9, if you would like to speak to recruiting, hit 9. To me, it's like I would push that to the forefront. But at the same time, look through the process, do some spring cleaning, and ask yourself, if I'm a driver and I'm visiting ABC Trucking, how easy is it to access the recruiting department? How easy is it for me to find out a little bit more about the job? How easy, if I'm a driver right now, I'm a current driver for you, it's tough for me to get through my operations to my fleet team. How easy are you making it to hire drivers as well as being able to keep the ones you have? And I think that's spring cleaning, and it's simple stuff. It's going through your website, it's going through all your advertising, just taking that few moments to go, let's see what we need to clean this up.
Yeah, it's so easy, and making making a website or things like that to make it from your perspective, or what you think needs to happen, and then not actually go back through and test it and see how it works.
Oh, right now, right now, every single recruiting department needs to dial from their phone that they're using and call their own personal number. Is it a 1-800 number? Because I can tell you right now, I'm not answering a 1-800. I am not answering an 800 number at all. And B, is it immediately going to spam? If it's going to spam, you've got to be able to look what are other options that we need to fix that and work through this. And so again, and that's simple. How quick is that? And a recruiting managers can easily go, let's just try this out. Because you'd be amazed how many out there right now are still having that issue. And again, just small things like that, I think are small things are huge wins right now.
Or just simply managing the information that you put out there.
Yeah.
We put new clients online every month, and it amazes. Every month we have at least one that calls back and says, "Where did you get this crap?" That we copied it right from your website.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so you've got to stay up to date with that information. Put your pay out there. Nobody's going to apply to a job that they don't know what it's going to pay. If you don't want to put your pay out there, take a hard look at what you're paying.
Yeah, I mean that old used car salesman tactic doesn't work anymore. where you only give a couple pieces of information, and then you got to keep the rest inside, so that way they call about that car and you can sell them on that car. That don't work right now because there's too many out there giving all the details on that car everywhere else, and they're offering deals.
We live in the age of information. And I mean, when we were talking earlier, you guys are a little bit younger than I am. And every time Beach mentions a new app, he always asks me, he said, have you ever heard of that? And granted, I haven't heard of most of them, but the big ones I know. But man, some of the other stuff, the snap faces and stuff like that, younger drivers are using that. And, you got to get on board with that stuff. Yeah. Obviously, I don't, but do as I say, not as I do. Is that what it is?
I think I'm gonna Snapchat Darin right now. I'm putting Darin on a filter.
I do have Snapchat. I don't use it, but I do have one.
Oh, I bet you do.
I was going to show up to that one earlier today, a hill day with the one with the glasses, the black with the little white dots on it. Like Thug Life. I was going to show up to it.
Yeah, you should have. That would have been great.
But Brad and Matt and everybody else would say.
Let's not do that. Now, I do have probably our last question, please. What advice do you guys have for new drivers or old drivers now?
Yeah, just drivers in general. What advice?
Do your homework.
Ooh.
The information's out there. Don't take the first job offer you have always. I mean, the first one you get might be the best, but take a look, do your research. If you're doing it on your own on a website like ours, you've got everything's at your fingertips. You can do all the research you want at that time. So do your research. If you're talking to someone like Matt and his team, listen to them. I mean, they want you to succeed. Take advice, and just listen.
Yeah. Mine would be know your worth, and you're worth a lot.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, then we as an industry aren't telling you enough, but know your worth.
And I'm going to give one piece of advice for the new drivers.
Okay.
Don't expect to come into this industry and think that drugs okay.
What?
Drugs are okay. There's so many. Once you see people applying to come to truck driving school and things that I have a medical marijuana card, I should be fine. Listen, it's going to catch up to you. It's going to prevent you from getting in this. And we just see it so much because they're just not understanding or educated, because it might be fine for whatever they do now because it's legal in that situation, but it's not for this situation.
I do have a question. Okay. Another question. Real quick, because you guys work with a lot of different companies, right? Do you see more and more turn towards hair follicle versus urine? Or are they kind of just staying 50-50? There's half and half?
I think there's more urinalysis tests than there is hair follicle, way more. It's cheaper. Well, the thing is, you got again, I don't think I'm wrong with this, but your hair follicle, you don't have to do it.
No.
And it's urinalysis, you have to. So hair follicle, you don't have to. But then you've got, and I don't know this, I know the in-depth studies that hair follicle does, it goes pretty deep. And I've even heard that some of it is it accurate? Does it go only 3 months, but it actually goes all the way back 5 years? I'm throwing a number out there, but is the info actually accurate as to the testing itself? I'm sure it's very accurate. But at one of those, I don't know, it's just at what cost, And so I think that's a huge play with hair follicle versus, to me, that's when it comes back to it's a big time cost. But again, a lot of carriers that do it, it's like, hey, we see value in it, and that's what we want to do. Okay. But along that line, it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know what. And I think that's a study knowing what actually is the SAP program and what does that involve in?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Oh,
it's extreme. I mean, it is not. Let's just say even after the SAP program, you have to get tested. I think it's like 6 to 9 times a year. It's constant constant.
So you're saying there's a big emphasis as to if a driver has to go through the SAT program, it's a lot of work for that driver to have to go through and to pass.
Yes. It's a lot
And
of work.
money.
Yeah, a lot of work, money. And then afterwards, even after you've gone through that program, a company that brings you in, there's still a lot more to make sure that you're still on the up and up and continuing.
So the company also has to accept that you're on that program and has to ensure that you're complying to all of that. And that's sometimes a problem, right? That a lot of companies.
Well, I just wonder, because if you had to ask, someone asked me right now, what does it mean to go through the SAT program? Well, when it first started, you could probably Google the certificate and have grandma sign it and be like, I passed.
Oh, no.
No. I mean, there's
That was when it first came through, because no one really knew exactly the full details of what it meant to. But now, hearing it from you, knowing it is a lot of work for that driver to get back to go through it and the follow up and what has to be done. And I just wonder how many insurance companies know that.
See, and I don't necessarily have a problem with the increased testing. If you failed a drug test and you want to get back in, we're going to test you more often. I do not have a problem with that, but it shouldn't cost them more money. I mean, what does that do for us? Somebody makes a mistake. All we're doing is steering them out of the trucking industry. We should make it a little difficult for them. You made a mistake, and here's how you get back in. But
the counselors and everything like that have to oversee that program with you, cost money for it. So where does the buck get passed? Especially when you're not working for somebody.
I just think I would love to see a bullet point, easy to read. Like for me, you have to explain something to me like I'm a kindergartner.
He wants a presentation slideshow.
Actually, I talk about it.
Lines. Give me some crayons so I can draw on it.
I have to talk about it in my ELDT theory program.
Bullet point it. For someone who has to go through the SAT, it's this.
Maybe the entire program needs updated, and at the very least, educated. Right? How many states is marijuana legal in right now?
Quite a few, but yet it's not for this situation.
I understand, but at some point in time, neither was alcohol. So maybe there's an education process we need to go through and get with the times. I'm certainly not smart enough to have that answer, but.
No, the only reason it's not
it's because you can't test
the testing.
So if I pull you over,
there's
no immediate test.
I can't tell you to blow in this little machine and I can tell if you're high or not.
Yeah. Or when you were last. I mean,
when was the last time?
Whereas the only way right now is your analysis, and that tells me you did it within the last 30 days, or 65 days, whatever. But there's no way
that makes sense.
This exact moment because the technology and the funding isn't there.
So I have my only question, Priscilla. Your job, your homework, and for anybody watching, has to be able to tell us in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, right? What kind of sandwich did he order?
Oh, I think I'll ask, who is he?
No.
I'm like,
and what was the drink he ordered with it?
Yes. What was the sandwich he ordered, and what was the drink?
The drink is always the same. Yes.
Can someone just tell me where it's from?
I already told you.
Oh, something in Burn? No, I don't know. Okay. You see how
we
much
were kind of just talking about what some people do.
What?
It's a famous trucking movie. Priscilla can start there.
Yeah. You have research, and I want it text to me as to the sandwich and what was the drink.
And comment below.
Comment below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you guys for coming on. I do appreciate it. There's a lot of information here. I'm sure we could talk about this all day. We're especially recruiting drivers and helping them change their lives. I know you guys got good programs. Is there anything you guys got coming out here soon, or anything that you're doing, or how does someone, find out how to get in to that page that you have there, Darin?
cdljobs.com. There's contact information. If you want to speak to me directly, you can find contact information on that. Other than that, I'll be in Vegas for the 10th Street Users Conference, and Nashville for the Recruiting and Retention Conference. And
when's that one?
Well, Matt
June.
hasn't given us the invite because he doesn't love us anymore.
Oh, yeah, because I work for 10th Street. Yeah, that's right.
No, the one in Nashville.
The one in Nashville.
What are you talking about?
He just
He
said
doesn't pay. When I
Oh.
talk, he just kind of zones out.
I zoned out. I found out what the smell was.
What was it? You're gonna have to share now.
It's on the bottom of my shoe. I'll just leave it at that. It's called Golden Doodle.
I was gonna say maybe I'll surprise you guys and show up in Omaha, but now I'm absolutely not doing that.
I did. I looked down and I was like, there it is.
So reeling it back in here, Matt. So when do we expect that nice invite for recruiting retention?
Recruiting and retention.
I will send out invites to all the millions of masses as soon as we get off here.
Oh, sweet.
We're part of millions of masses.
I
don't
thought
feel
of
special anymore.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like whatever's at the bottom of the shoe.
I'm popular. I mean, what? I can't help it.
Oh yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, so we're
Yes.
just golden doodle. That's will be our term for.
No, you're not. I did find it though. Glad I know. Tracked it everywhere, I'm sure.
Well, Matt, if anyone sees any news stories pertaining to guys with bald heads and beards in Omaha, just know that was probably us.
It was.
And I will have the camera.
And she'll be bailing us out.
See, yeah.
And
The camera is like, no camera.
What? I thought we do cameras because you guys like posting stuff.
We just
You're right.
We can
But he,
edit
but,
cameras.
no, but he doesn't bring his wife for a reason.
Well, on that note, I'm sorry, Miss Beach. That is not true.
It's not. I like messing with him though. I gotta get him in
She
trouble.
does not. Well, she would. She might go to the 10th Street Vegas trip. She might go to that one.
What?
Yeah.
The only one we're not going to because
That-
Maryland doesn't invite us.
Yeah, she didn't invite us to it. Yeah.
All right, guys. It was so nice having you guys on here.
Pleasure.
Always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Priscilla, for all that y'all do for the trucking industry. Appreciate you. Thanks, Darin.
No, thank you guys. Keep training your recruiters, please.
We will.
Yes.
All right. And it's cut.